All right, yesterday and today, people got to watch the Fantastic Four First Steps in its entirety, and the social media embargo for the reactions has just lifted. So we're about to hear all about what people really think of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Here are the first reactions. I will say that they saw the movie a couple hours ago. It would have ended a couple of hours ago. I talked to my friend after he saw it. He said he liked it quite a bit, that it was really good. Then I asked about the people who he was with, what they thought about it, and he said, I think generally everyone really liked it. A lot. It's definitely a lot more serious in tone than I anticipated, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It might be one of the few Marvel movies that doesn't have too many comedic clips that break up the tension. I thought all the family dynamic stuff is the strongest parts of the movie, and the powers are exciting, but the real cool action is actually within space. So right away, from my buddy, a really great review so far, or at least a great initial reaction. These are reactions, not complete reviews. Those will come later, but the fact that Marvel is allowing the social media reactions to be made public a week in advance of the movie is a good sign. Typically, when a studio doesn't have faith in a movie, they'll put the embargoes like a day before the movie comes out. We dive into another good review from Dio, who states, Fantastic Four is a masterpiece. The visual effects and the score are a huge standout. Galactus is huge in IMAX. It's emotional and gives you hope. It beats you off and doesn't stop. Stay until the end credits. So that's a pretty dang good review. Andrew J. Salazar of Discussing Film said this about the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is a story about family above all else, where each member of the team is equally important. No one is undeserved. The movie excels when fleshing out the various bonds between Pedro, Vanessa, Eban, and Joseph. The retro 60s aesthetic works on all fronts. Pedro nails Reed's stoicism and dashing brilliance, while Joseph makes Johnny feel ever so valiant. But man, I can't remember the last time I adored two Marvel heroes like Eban's Ben and Vanessa's Sue. They hold the family together and ground the others when no one else can. More initial thoughts. Movie is less focused on action and more on the Fantastic Four solving problems as a family, which can be appreciated. The plot itself is a bit too nonsensical and scenes feel cut out for the sake of time. Galactus looks awesome. The film's not perfect, but the cast saves it. So a pretty good review. Another one from Brian Long Film says, I came in tempered, but Fantastic Four is truly a return to form for the MCU. The opening minutes blew my socks off in IMAX. Gardner's and Quinn's work stood out to me the most. Galactus gives this film real stakes, and his presence is felt even off screen. Incredible miniature work. So another pretty great review. But not all reviews are completely stellar. Here's a reaction from Brandon Davis of Phase Hero. He states, Fantastic Four First Steps is visually one of the best things Marvel has ever made. Parts feel like Interstellar and demand IMAX. Galactus is awesome. Silver Surfer looks really, really good. VFX were often immaculate. Cosmically and on Earth, Matt Shakman dropped a visual feast. He continued to say, Fantastic Four First Steps has a lot of fantastic in it, yet feels it could be more. Visually, some of Marvel's best work ever, and more sci-fi than expected. Story didn't hook me as I'd hoped, but family beats land well. Action scenes are great. I wanted to love it. I liked it. He continued, the cast and characters work well enough in Fantastic Four, but Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm is the movie's heart and soul. Johnny might have been my favorite character. Also, shout out to Paul Walter Hauser for stealing his screen time and bringing a great energy to the movie. At this point in time, the trailers have told us that Galactus does indeed want the child of Reed and Sue, Franklin Richards. So it would make sense that we would get a lot from Sue Storm, and I'm glad Vanessa Kirby delivered a powerful acting job here. And a lot of initial reactions out there do say that Reed and Sue, Pedro and Vanessa, and really the entire cast do an amazing job. Ash Crossan from Screen Rant says Fantastic Four is visually stunning, stylish, self-contained, and easy to jump into. I had such a good time with this one. The retro-futurism is such a snack. My standout is Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. Babe, I will die for you. You are perfect. Chris Killian of comicbook.com says this, Fantastic Four friggin' rocks, more than any Marvel movie before it. F4 feels like Jack Kirby's imagination brought to life on the big screen. Between this and Superman, 2025 might go down as the year movies finally embrace the wonderful weirdness of comic books. I had my doubts going in about some of the cast, but the team chemistry works and they really do gel by the end. Go watch it in IMAX to feel Ralph Ensign's Galactus voice vibrate in your bones. Also, the retro-futuristic world Shackman has put together here is stunning. I have but one gripe. Like Superman, there are some rough CGI baby moments that might give you nightmares. I don't know why babies seem to be so tough for animators to get right, but I'd almost prefer the actors just wrap a football in a blanket and pretend it's a baby. So overall, a really great review from him, but yeah, the CGI babies. I will say the Superman baby scene with Joey, you could tell sometimes it was a little rough with the CGI, but overall I don't think took away from the scene, so I'm hoping that's the same way for the Fantastic Four. Matt Neglia says this: many will say the Fantastic Four First Steps is fantastic, and they'll be right for several reasons. The four main cast members are excellent, and Michael Giacchino's lively score is instantly memorable, and the 60s retro-futuristic production design and dynamic visual effects are a delightful treat rather than an eyesore. The story's focus on the theme of family can feel a bit overdone at this point in the MCU, and the villains aren't the most compelling, but the cast does a lot of the heavy lifting to make you deeply care about these characters, their relationships, and the end-of-the-world stakes they face. Combined with Matt Shackman's snappy, confident storytelling, this is an intriguing and satisfying first step for Marvel's new team, easily the best depiction of this quartet on screen to date, as the MCU continues to regain control of the ship and steer it closer to Doomsday. One of my personal friends, Law, says Fantastic Four is solid like Ben Grimm. Marvel's first family has chemistry that is out of this world. The powers alone make for some great visuals, but the space sequences are quite breathtaking. If these are their first steps, I'm excited to see what steps they take next. I especially enjoyed when Ben and Johnny shared the screen. They're hilarious together. Reed and Sue seem so in love. Oh, and Galactus is huge. His voice rumbled my seat. The story is good, not great, but it's handled very well. I'm excited to see this team's next outing because I think it'll only get crazier from here on out. And we'll do one more from Anthony from the Movie Podcast, who states, the Fantastic Four is simply fantastic. Marvel's first family shines with chemistry and charisma Stan Lee would be proud of. Visually incredible, the Fantastic Four dazzle from start to finish. Ben Grimm brings the heart. Silver Surfer is perfection. Matt Shackman delivers one of Marvel's best. There's a lot of reactions out there and most of them say the same thing. The Fantastic Four is fantastic. It's visually stunning. The score is amazing. Galactus's voice is incredible. The chemistry between the members are fantastic. And the only thing that's a little lacking seems to be kind of the story. But that's kind of depending on who you ask. Overall though, it sounds like this is going to be a pretty big win for Marvel Studios. And it is nice to know that most people say that it is the best Fantastic Four movie to date. But as always, please go see the movie and form your own opinion. I'm personally really looking forward to this movie and I can't wait to see it. Go ahead and let me know how excited you are or not in the comments down below. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.